guys, it's almost the end of summer and I just realized I haven't talked about graduating from high school yet, so that's what I'm going to talk about. Going through my senior year, a lot of people told me it would zoom by faster than I could imagine and that I might not miss it now, but I'll miss school later and I'll eventually cry about all the friends I won't get to see anymore. And while that's true for a lot of people, I guess, who don't process that school is ending, I kind of process things a bit differently. Since back in sophomore year we found out my boyfriend was gonna move 300 miles away, I've sort of learned to take emotions in every moment, process them over time, so that when the thing finally happens, it doesn't just hit me all at once. So going through senior year, I processed all of the emotions of leaving high school right at the beginning of the year, and by the time it was the end of the year, everyone else was like, oh my god, I'm so sad, I'll miss you all so much, and I was like, I already went through this. It felt like the end of an era, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It felt like I had nothing else to do there, even though I really love my high school and there are so many classes I wanted to take but didn't get to. I will always be a part of my school's family and I am a very proud alum. But anyway, graduation. I saw everyone grow up a lot through senior year. I mean, the year started out like any other year and then we hit internships. At my school, for 1 week, they make you take off school and do 30 hours of an internship to kind of explore your future career, and I got to work at some ad agencies for a week, which was really cool. I definitely want to be a graphic designer because everyone was freaking awesome. But when we came back from our internships, everyone, me included, had more of a wider worldview. It was really neat. You could feel the change everywhere. And by the end of the year, it just felt like we were adults now. Turning 18, doing things you can only do when you're 18, like registering to vote, being in the mall after 4 p.m. on weekends, and then actually graduating, it gives you a lot of confidence. And I know I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I felt a lot more secure in who I am as a person. I felt like I was more valid, which is kind of messed up. As a teenager, a lot of times we're told that what we feel doesn't matter and isn't valid in the real world. It's a really harmful thing to teach kids, but it does mean that when I turned 18, I was like, yeah, I can voice my opinions and people won't tell me I'm stupid and don't know anything. We seniors got out of school early because we didn't have exams. You can watch a video about my last week of school by clicking right here. So we got 2 whole weeks off before we finally went back on May 30th for our graduation ceremony. And our school doesn't have a gymnasium because we're an art school. So we went to a theater and we got to go backstage and be in the dressing rooms, which anyone at our school has already done so because we have lots of shows. It was still cool and lots of selfies were taken. One of the biggest changes I noticed in myself regarding my confidence level was my comfort giving a speech. I graduated the Salutatorian, which I haven't really bragged about before to strangers because it felt kind of weird. I graduated with a 4.161 GPA, which unfortunately meant I had to give a speech in front of everyone at a podium on a stage. But when I gave the speech to the actual audience, it was fine. I didn't have to look over people's heads or pretend I was alone in the room. I kind of just played to the crowd's emotions. When I got up to the podium, I made a joke about being too short to reach the microphone because I had to stand on my tiptoes to adjust it, and that went over really well. Everyone laughed. And after the ceremony, when we'd, taken the cords on our caps and flipped them to the other side, which was really cool, and gone out for giant group pictures, people told me that my speech actually almost made them cry, which I couldn't believe. Anyway, my mom recorded the speech. It's pretty blurry and she missed my joke about being too short, but I will end the video with that. Oh gosh. It's not often that I get to address a room full of people. 4 years ago, I never would have been able to write a speech, let alone give one, but now I'm welcoming the class of 2015 to the next stage of our lives. I could stand here for 3 minutes spouting graduation cliches, but instead I'm going to talk about change. It happens to all of us. The people who walked into TSA for the first time years ago are not the same people who are leaving. And that's kind of scary. It means that the future is unpredictable. You might cut off all your hair, or run for president, or move to the mountains and become a monk. And in this unpredictability, there lies the possibility that you could fail. You could fail spectacularly, but that's not what you should be afraid of. Real life is going to be tough sometimes, and that feels scary. But it's through the challenges that we find pieces of ourselves we didn't know we had. Every one of us has struggled at some point during our time here, but without those experiences, we wouldn't have grown. This year I grappled with accepting that I couldn't go to my first choice college. It was a dream I'd had since I was a freshman, and giving it up was heartbreaking. One thing that helped me was a story the wise Mr. Longacre told me about Japan. There's a lake at the base of Mount Fuji, and there's also a pirate ship that takes tourists around the lake. Mr. Longacre really wanted to be on that pirate ship, because who wouldn't? Unfortunately, he arrived just in time to see it leave. But he also arrived in time for a dude to pull up in a speedboat and offer to give him a ride. So he still got to see Mount Fuji, and while it wasn't the experience he'd originally wanted, it was still a unique experience, and it was awesome. So when you leave here, embrace change, dye your eyebrows blue, join the circus, and don't let the missed pirate ships ruin your speedboat rides. Thank you.